Alex moved through the bustling spaceport market with a casual air, though his mind was far from calm. The market was alive with a mixture of humans and aliens, each selling wares from across the galaxy. Merchants called out their goods in different languages, and the smell of exotic spices mixed with the faint ozone of hovering energy vehicles. He had visited many markets before, but today felt different. He was here to pick up supplies for his small starship, the Starlight Runner. Alex liked to keep his ship simple and efficient, unlike some of the flashy star cruisers he sometimes saw docking here. But his attention drifted as he noticed a small stall tucked away near the edge of the market. A display of bracelets shimmered under the soft artificial lights. One, in particular, caught his eye. It was delicate, glowing faintly with a soft blue light, and engraved with intricate patterns he didn't understand. A small placard identified it as a Lumerian bracelet of bonding. He smiled. Lumerians were a species known for their strict cultural codes and mysterious traditions. He knew these bracelets were considered sacred. Alex picked it up and laughed to himself. "Why not?" he muttered, slipping it onto his wrist. It fit perfectly. He held up his hand and snapped a quick photo with his wrist communicator. "Borrowed it for style," he captioned the image, thinking it would make his friends chuckle. He didn't expect it to go beyond his small circle. But in the galaxy, nothing ever stayed small. Within minutes, his post was noticed by Lumerians far beyond the market. Their society was deeply networked, and sacred objects like this bracelet were monitored by the Alien Court, an ancient governing body that ensured the preservation of their customs and laws. To the Lumerians, Alex's casual wearing of the bracelet was more than a joke. It was binding him in a sacred promise. Alex didn't know this. He continued shopping, enjoying the sights and sounds of the market. He bought energy crystals for his ship, a few exotic fruits for snacks, and even a small anti-gravity toy for his niece back on Earth. He barely noticed the glowing blue bracelet on his wrist. It wasn't until his communicator buzzed urgently that he realized something was wrong. A holographic projection flickered in front of him, showing an official seal he didn't recognize. A stern voice spoke in perfect galactic standard. "Alex Turner, you are hereby summoned to appear before the Lumerian Alien Court. You are legally married, and the process of family creation has begun. Alex Turner. Alex Turner, you are legally married, and the process of family creation has begun." Alex blinked. The words didn't make sense. "Wait. What?" he muttered aloud. Around him, people continued their business, oblivious to the sudden panic in his mind. He tapped his communicator, trying to call someone for advice, but there was no one to reach. The message repeated itself in a loop, leaving him more confused and uneasy with each repetition. Alex tried to laugh it off. "It's a mistake. A system glitch. Some kind of scam," he said. But deep down, he felt a growing sense of dread. The bracelet glowed faintly on his wrist, pulsing in a rhythm that seemed almost alive. "Okay. Breathe," he muttered. "Just a call. They'll understand. It's a joke. Right?" But the message was clear. He had to appear before the Lumerian court. And the court, Alex had heard, was not known for its sense of humor. 2 days later, a transport shuttle arrived at his small starship dock. It was sleek, silver, and unlike any human ship he had seen before. The shuttle hummed quietly as it hovered in the air, a soft magnetic field holding it steady. A doorway opened automatically, and a voice said politely but firmly, "Alex Turner, please step inside. Your presence is requested by the Lumerian court." Alex hesitated. "Yeah, sure," he said, though his voice shook slightly. He stepped inside, leaving his familiar market and city behind. The shuttle's interior was smooth and glowing, filled with panels that seemed to read his very thoughts. He sank into a seat that molded itself perfectly to his body. A soft hum filled the cabin as the shuttle lifted off. Hours passed in near silence. Alex watched the stars blur outside the viewports as the shuttle moved at incredible speed. He tried to focus on his breathing, reminding himself that this had to be some mistake. Perhaps when he arrived, they would see the humor in it and let him go. But the landing told him otherwise. The shuttle touched down on a distant planet. The ground beneath him was smooth, almost like glass, reflecting the sky above, which shimmered with multiple suns. Towering crystalline structures rose from the surface, glowing faintly as if powered by an inner light. Alex's jaw dropped. He had never seen anything like this. The door opened, and he was greeted by Liara, a Lumerian woman, or perhaps the closest human equivalent. Her skin glimmered softly in shades of violet and silver. Her eyes were deep and intelligent, observing him with a calm curiosity that made Alex feel like a child caught in a game he didn't understand. "You are Alex Turner," she said, her voice melodic yet firm. "You are aware that wearing the bracelet signifies a binding promise in Lumerian law?" Alex swallowed hard. I thought it was just a joke. I didn't know." Liara raised a delicate hand. "Ignorance is not a valid excuse. The bracelet has chosen you as my bonded partner. You are now married." Married. Alex blinked. "Married? Wait, this is real?" Liara nodded. "The court will explain the details. But know this. The process of family creation is part of the binding. You cannot leave until it is complete." Alex's stomach dropped. "Family creation? You mean a baby?" Liara's expression was unreadable. "Partially. The bond involves genetic compatibility tests, cultural integration, and preparation for raising a hybrid child. Do not resist the process. It is not negotiable." Alex felt as if the ground had been pulled from beneath him. He glanced at the glowing bracelet on his wrist. The soft blue light seemed almost to mock him, as if it had known all along that he could not simply laugh his way out of this situation. He followed Liara through the crystalline halls toward the court. The structure was massive, filled with energy patterns that seemed to shift and flow around them. Other Lumerians passed by, some observing him with curiosity, others with polite indifference. He tried to appear calm, but he felt like a human trapped in an alien painting. Finally, they entered the court chamber. The room was enormous, with walls that shimmered like water and a ceiling that reflected the stars beyond the planet's atmosphere. At the far end sat the judges, beings tall and radiant, their forms glowing softly. The head judge looked directly at Alex, and he felt as if the being could see every thought in his mind. "Alex Turner," the judge intoned, "you have worn the sacred bracelet without permission. By our law, you are bonded to Lumerian Liara. You will undergo the preparation for family creation, and your union will be recognized across the galaxy. Resistance is not an option. Compliance is required." Alex swallowed hard. I don't even know what to say," he admitted. "I didn't mean any of this. It was just a joke. I was... Liara stepped closer, her eyes softening slightly. "Your intention is noted. But the law is the law. You will adapt. And perhaps you will discover qualities in humans that we, Lumerians, have not yet recognized." Alex had no idea what that meant, but the thought made him uneasy. He glanced at the judges, then back at Liara. Somehow, he knew his life had changed forever. As the court proceedings began, Alex listened in disbelief as the judges explained the customs of the bracelet, the importance of the union, and the steps required for hybrid child preparation. Each word made his heart pound faster. Yet, beneath the panic, A tiny spark of curiosity ignited. Could he survive this? Could a human really thrive in such an alien society? Liara noticed the spark and allowed herself a small, almost imperceptible smile. Perhaps it is not impossible, she whispered to herself. Alex had no choice but to follow the path laid before him. With the bracelet glowing softly on his wrist, he took his first steps into a world where humans were both insignificant and extraordinary, a world where his ingenuity, humor, and courage might just make him more than a guest. And as the stars outside the court shimmered in the alien night, Alex realized he was no longer just a human playing with a bracelet. He was a human about to prove his worth in a galaxy that had never expected him to succeed. Alex spent the first night on the alien planet in a small, crystalline room provided by the court. The walls glowed softly, reacting to his movements and voice. Despite its beauty, sleep was impossible. His mind raced with questions. How could a simple joke lead to this? Was he really married? And a baby? The thought made him both anxious and amazed. Morning arrived in a wash of pale light from the 3 suns above. A gentle hum filled the air as the palace stirred with activity. Alex dressed quickly, unsure what human equivalent clothing would even be appropriate here. He finally chose something simple, neutral, hoping that at least his appearance wouldn't offend the aliens. A soft chime echoed through the room. Liara appeared in the doorway, her form shimmering slightly with a faint energy aura. She nodded politely, as if acknowledging both him and the bracelet glowing on his wrist. "Come," she said simply. "The court awaits your presence." Alex followed, trying to keep his footsteps steady. As they walked through the halls, he noticed other Lumarians moving gracefully, their forms luminous, their motions precise. Some glanced at him curiously. He wondered what they thought of humans, creatures so clumsy, so impulsive, and yet somehow brave enough to explore the stars. Finally, they entered a larger chamber than the previous one. Holographic symbols hovered mid-air, displaying data about Alex and his human physiology. Liara led him to a platform in front of the judges. The head judge's presence was overwhelming, radiating authority and intelligence. "Alex Turner," the judge began, "you have appeared in our court. You have been bonded through the bracelet to Lumarian Liara. The process of integration will begin immediately." Alex swallowed. "Integration?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. "You mean marriage? And the baby thing?" The judge inclined his head. "Correct. The process is both cultural and biological. Resistance is not allowed. Participation is required to ensure harmony and the continuation of our species' traditions." Alex glanced at Liara, who was watching him carefully. Unlike the intimidating judges, she seemed calm, almost curious about him. He noticed the faint softness in her eyes, an openness that humans rarely showed toward strangers. "Do not worry," Liara said quietly. "The process is designed to test adaptability, understanding, and cooperation. Humans have traits that can surprise us. Perhaps you will show them." Alex couldn't tell if she was teasing him or being serious. "Adaptability? Huh? I guess I'll have to show you." He forced a smile, though he felt anything but confident. The first part of the court's integration process involved cultural training. Alex was guided through classrooms filled with holographic lessons on Lumerian history, etiquette, and law. At first, the language barrier made everything confusing. He struggled to read the symbols and interpret their meanings. Liara stayed close, translating words and explaining subtleties in a calm voice. "You have to understand," she said as they walked through a room filled with floating data panels. "We value precision and thoughtfulness. Humans are different, but that difference can be valuable." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Different? That's putting it lightly." Liara smiled faintly. "Perhaps. But you may prove useful in ways we do not yet understand." By midday, Alex found himself in a room designed to test problem-solving and adaptability. The judges presented him with an alien device, a cube of shifting light and energy patterns. The goal was simple in theory: align the patterns to create a stable energy flow. Simple for a Lumerian. But Alex quickly realized this device didn't follow any logic he was familiar with. He took a deep breath and approached it as he would a human engineering problem. He examined the cube from all angles, pushed the buttons randomly at first, then methodically. Slowly, patterns began to stabilize. By combining his human intuition with trial and error methods, he achieved success. Liara observed silently, her expression unreadable. When the cube's energy stabilized, she nodded slightly. "Humans may indeed have unique strengths," she said to the judges. The head judge regarded Alex with renewed interest. "Your approach is unconventional, yet it demonstrates ingenuity. Perhaps your species can complement ours in ways we have underestimated." Alex felt a flicker of pride. He wasn't just a confused human wearing a bracelet anymore. He was someone who could contribute, even in a society as alien as this. Next came physical adaptation exercises. The Lumarians had floating platforms, energy fields, and gravity variations designed to teach balance, coordination, and resilience. Alex stumbled at first, falling into energy fields and bouncing awkwardly from platform to platform. But he persisted. Liara offered guidance, showing him how to feel the subtle energy currents and adjust his movements. "You're learning quickly for a human," she remarked. "Many take weeks to adapt." Alex grinned, despite himself. "Well, I guess humans are built for improvisation." By the end of the day, Alex was exhausted, but exhilarated. He had survived tests that many Lumerians assumed no human could pass. And yet, he knew the challenges had only just begun. The integration process wasn't simply about skills. It was about understanding and bonding with Liara, learning to communicate across species, and eventually preparing for the hybrid child that was part of the sacred law. That evening, Alex and Liara walked along a suspended garden filled with floating plants and luminous waterfalls. The air was fragrant with alien flowers, and the stars above glimmered in a way Earth could never match. "Tell me," Liara said softly, "what do humans value most? What drives you?" Alex thought for a moment. "We value survival, curiosity, and creativity. We want to explore, to learn, to make things better. We aren't perfect, but we try." Liara considered this. Perhaps that is why the court allowed this union, to test not only the human, but the potential of your kind to thrive among us. Alex nodded slowly. "I guess I have no choice but to show them then. Show them that humans can adapt and maybe even excel." Over the next days, Alex and Liara continued the cultural, intellectual, and physical training. Alex found himself gradually learning the Lumerian language and customs. He discovered that the bracelets not only symbolized a bond but also subtly influenced communication, helping him sense Liara's emotions and intentions more clearly. Liara, in turn, began to see Alex's unique qualities. He solved problems creatively, often thinking in ways Lumerians had never considered. He noticed risks and possibilities in situations where Lumarians relied on tradition. His humor and kindness also surprised her. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but sometimes unpredictability brought insight. One afternoon, during a particularly complex energy simulation, Alex had an idea. Using human logic, he modified the simulation's energy paths. The result stabilized a system the Lumerians had struggled with for decades. Liara's eyes widened. "You fixed it," she said softly. Alex shrugged. "I just looked at it differently. I guess humans have a way of seeing possibilities others miss." The judges observed from their chamber. The head judge, spoke quietly to Liara. This human shows promise. Perhaps the court underestimated the human potential. His bond with you may yield valuable outcomes not only for the child, but for future cooperation between species. That evening, Alex felt a mixture of relief and awe. He was learning, adapting, and even earning respect. Yet the weight of the bracelet and the reality of the hybrid child remained in the back of his mind. He knew the next steps would challenge him even further. Biological compatibility tests, more intensive integration, and understanding Liara on a deeper, more personal level. As he lay in the glowing room that night, Alex gazed at the bracelet on his wrist. Its light pulsed softly, almost in rhythm with his heartbeat. He realized that this small piece of alien jewelry had changed his life forever. He had been forced out of his familiar human world and thrown into a society that challenged everything he knew. But for the first time, he felt a flicker of confidence. Humans were adaptable. Humans were creative. And humans, he thought with a small, determined smile, could rise to meet any challenge, even in the court of an alien species that seemed impossibly advanced. Alex didn't know what the future held. He didn't know how the hybrid child would come into being, or what the next tests would demand. But he knew one thing. He would face it. With Liara as his guide and the human spirit of determination and ingenuity driving him, he would prove that humans could not only survive, but thrive, even in the stars. And perhaps, he thought as he drifted to sleep, the bracelet hadn't chosen him entirely by chance. Maybe the galaxy had decided it was time to see what humans could really do. The days that followed were unlike anything Alex had ever experienced. The alien court's schedule was rigorous, designed to push him beyond his limits. From dawn to the dim glow of the artificial night, he trained, studied, and adapted. Yet, he no longer felt entirely out of place. With Liara by his side, guiding him and explaining customs, the alien world began to feel a little less alien. Liara's presence was both intimidating and comforting. She moved with a grace Alex could not imitate. Yet she allowed him small moments to assert himself. When she spoke, her words carried authority, but also an underlying curiosity, as if she wanted to see how far a human could go. "Today, you will participate in the harmony exercise," Liara said one morning. Her violet eyes reflected the soft light of the crystalline hall. "It tests not only your ability to adapt physically, but also to think as a team with me. Cooperation is essential." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Teamwork? Huh? I think humans can handle that." He forced a grin, though inside he felt nervous. Teamwork with an alien was a completely different challenge. The harmony exercise took place in a vast chamber filled with floating platforms, beams of light, and shifting energy fields. The goal was simple in theory. They had to navigate a series of obstacles and activate energy nodes simultaneously. If they failed, the exercise would reset, and they would have to start over. Alex hesitated at first, unsure of how to move through the shifting platforms. He stumbled, almost falling into a field of pulsing blue energy. Liara extended her hand, and the bracelet on Alex's wrist responded, emitting a faint glow. He felt a subtle connection, an almost instinctive understanding of her movements. "Follow my lead," she said. "We must move as one." Alex nodded and focused. Slowly, he began to match her steps, sensing her rhythm and timing. The glowing bracelet pulsed in sync with their movements. And for the first time, Alex felt a strange but comforting connection to the alien law that had forced him into this marriage. They reached the first node, activating it together. Then the second. Alex's confidence grew. He began to anticipate Liara's movements, offering support when she leaped across wider platforms. She, in turn, began to trust his intuition, a trust rarely granted to humans by Lumerians. By the final node, they moved seamlessly, completing the exercise without error. The chamber's energy shifted, sending a ripple of approval to the judges observing from above. "Impressive," one judge remarked. "The human demonstrates adaptability beyond expectation." Liara glanced at Alex, her expression softening slightly. "You are learning faster than I anticipated," she said quietly. "Perhaps humans are more capable than our records suggest." Alex smiled, though he tried to hide it. "I guess humans surprise even themselves sometimes." After the exercise, Liara led Alex to a smaller, quieter chamber. Holographic displays floated in the air, showing simulations of biological systems and child-rearing practices. The next phase of his preparation was beginning. Understanding the hybrid child they were bound to create. "Do not panic," Liara said, sensing his unease. "The process is guided by science, tradition, and cooperation. You will not be alone." Alex ran a hand over his face. "I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. A child? With me? Half human? Half Lumerian?" Liara nodded. "Correct. The child is a symbol of cultural and biological unity. You will need to participate in preparation, from understanding genetics to learning how to nurture and protect." Alex swallowed hard. I don't even know where to start." Liara gave a small, amused smile. "Start by listening. Observe, and contribute when you can. Humans are clever, perhaps more clever than you realize." Over the next several days, Alex immersed himself in the studies. He learned about Lumerian biology, their energy-based reproduction methods, and the cultural significance of hybrid children. At first, the information was overwhelming. The concepts were unlike anything human science had developed. Yet Alex's mind, trained in engineering and problem-solving, began to make connections. He noticed patterns in the biological simulations, connections between energy fields and genetic stability that even Liara had not considered. Tentatively, he suggested minor adjustments to the simulations, changes that simplified processes without violating cultural protocols. Liara raised an eyebrow. "You think these modifications will work?" I believe so," Alex said cautiously. "It's based on human logic, but it might stabilize the energy flow better." They implemented the changes together. The simulation responded immediately, energy patterns stabilizing faster than expected. Liara's eyes widened in surprise. "Humans, you do see possibilities differently," she said, softly. Alex grinned. "That's what we do. We solve problems." Word of his success spread quickly through the court. The judges observed his ingenuity with growing interest. The human who had once seemed reckless for wearing a bracelet as a joke was now demonstrating qualities Lumerians had long underestimated: creativity, adaptability, and quick thinking under pressure. It was during one of these lessons that disaster struck. An unexpected energy surge threatened the court's central chamber. A critical containment field was failing, and if it collapsed, the entire floating structure could destabilize. Panic rippled through the Lumarians. Alex's heart raced, but his mind snapped into action. He observed the energy patterns, recalling human methods for stabilizing volatile systems. Drawing from both his engineering background and the lessons Liara had taught him, he suggested rerouting certain energy flows and reinforcing the containment nodes temporarily. Liara moved quickly beside him, implementing his instructions. Other Lumerians followed, coordinating with Alex's guidance. Slowly, the energy surge stabilized. The court was safe. The head judge turned toward Alex, his expression unreadable but impressed. "The human has saved the court. His reasoning is unorthodox, yet effective. Perhaps we have underestimated humans." Liara looked at Alex with a mixture of respect and amazement. "You are proving the value of human ingenuity," she said softly. "Not just for me, but for your entire species. Alex felt a surge of pride. For the first time since arriving on this alien world, he felt like he belonged not fully, but enough to make a difference. In the days that followed, Alex and Liara continued their integration exercises. They learned to anticipate each other's thoughts and actions, moving in sync through complex challenges. Alex began to feel a genuine bond forming. What had started as a forced partnership was slowly transforming into a relationship built on trust, respect, and mutual reliance. One evening, they walked through the floating gardens above the court. Luminescent plants swayed gently, their glow reflecting in the crystalline walkways. The three suns were setting, painting the sky in hues of gold and violet. Liara spoke softly, almost as if to herself. Humans, you are unpredictable. Yet, sometimes, unpredictability brings insight. Alex smiled. I guess that's one thing humans are good at. Seeing what others miss. Liara looked at him, her expression unreadable. Perhaps. You may yet exceed expectations, Alex Turner. Not just as a human, but as a partner, and, eventually, as a parent. Alex swallowed, feeling the weight of her words. The hybrid child was no longer a distant concept. It was real, and he was part of its creation. The thought was daunting, but he also felt a spark of determination. He would rise to this challenge, not just to survive, but to prove the value of humans in a galaxy that had long doubted them. The bracelet on his wrist pulsed softly, as if acknowledging his resolve. He glanced at Liara. She was patient, knowledgeable, and occasionally intimidating but also willing to guide him. Together, they were more than the sum of their parts. Alex realized something important. Humans were not just adaptable, they were resourceful. They could thrive in alien worlds, solve problems others could not, and bring unique perspectives to challenges no one had anticipated. And in that moment, standing in the alien garden with Liara, Alex felt the first true sense of possibility. Perhaps, this forced marriage, this bracelet, and the hybrid child were not just challenges. Perhaps they were an opportunity, a chance to show the galaxy what humans could do. He looked up at the stars through the transparent dome above, feeling a mixture of awe and excitement. The future was uncertain, yes, but for the first time, he believed he could face it. Not as a human who stumbled into trouble, but as a human who could excel even in the court of an alien species that seemed impossibly advanced. And as the soft glow of the bracelet pulsed against his skin, Alex made a silent promise. He would rise to every challenge, prove the value of humans, and prepare for the future, no matter what the alien court, the stars, or even Liara herself expected. Days passed quickly in the alien court. Alex had adjusted to the routines, but nothing could prepare him for the next phase, preparing for the hybrid child. The court had made it clear that the child would be a symbol of unity between humans and Lumerians, combining the best traits of both species. While Alex was honored, he was also terrified. Liara approached him in the morning, her violet eyes soft with patience. Today, we begin the biological preparation process, she said. You will learn about compatibility, genetics, and nurturing. Do not fear. You are not alone in this. Alex ran a hand through his hair. I don't even know where to start. Half human? Half Lumerian? That's huge. Liara smiled faintly. Start by observing. Then contribute when you can. Humans are clever, Alex. Perhaps more clever than you realize. The first step involved the compatibility simulation. Alex was guided to a room filled with holographic projections of Lumerian and human DNA, energy fields, and biosystems. The simulation pulsed with soft light, displaying the potential genetic combinations for the child. Alex frowned. It was complicated, far more advanced than anything he had studied. But his engineering mind kicked in. He examined the projections carefully, noticing patterns in energy flows that seemed unstable. Drawing from human problem-solving techniques, he suggested minor adjustments, rerouting energy channels and stabilizing certain nodes. Liara watched him, impressed. "You understand energy flow intuitively," she said. "Few Lumerians grasp it this quickly." Alex shrugged. "We humans improvise. Sometimes, that works better than tradition." The simulation stabilized, glowing with a soft, steady light. The court's monitors registered the success. The judges whispered among themselves. The human was proving not only adaptable, but innovative. Over the next few days, Alex learned how to manage hybrid development protocols. This involved balancing energy fields, monitoring gene sequences, and ensuring both species' traits would combine harmoniously. It was delicate work, but Alex approached it as he would a complex engineering problem, carefully, methodically, and creatively. Liara continued to guide him, teaching him the subtleties of Lumerian biology and cultural expectations. She explained the child's significance. The child would be both a bridge and a symbol, demonstrating that humans could thrive in alien societies. Alex felt the weight of responsibility, but also a growing sense of pride. Humans might be underestimated across the galaxy, but here, in the heart of the Lumerian court, he was proving that humans could contribute in ways others could not. One afternoon, the court faced a crisis. A containment field in the central chamber, responsible for regulating energy flows across the palace, began to falter. If it collapsed, the court could be destabilized, and the hybrid preparation process would be endangered. Panic spread among the Lumerians. Alex's heart raced. He studied the problem quickly, noting weak points in the energy network. Using both human logic and his growing understanding of Lumerian technology, he devised a solution. Reroute energy flows temporarily, while reinforcing the containment nodes with hybrid energy stabilizers. Liara moved beside him, her presence steady and calm. "You are certain this will work?" she asked. Alex nodded. "It's risky, but it should stabilize the system long enough to prevent collapse." Together, they worked quickly. Alex instructed the Lumerians in precise steps, his human problem-solving ability complementing their advanced technology. Slowly, the containment field stabilized. The chamber pulsed softly with balanced energy once more. The judges watched in awe. The human who had started as a reckless visitor wearing a bracelet had just saved the court from potential disaster. Liara looked at him with something akin to respect, maybe even admiration. "You are remarkable," she said quietly. "Your ingenuity may save more than this court in the future." Alex smiled, feeling a mix of pride and relief. "I just did what I thought was best." Humans are good at thinking differently. With the crisis averted, the court allowed Alex and Liara a brief period of rest. They walked through a floating garden, the soft glow of alien plants reflecting in the crystalline walkways. The sky above shimmered with multiple suns, casting golden and violet hues across the landscape. Liara spoke softly. "You are adapting quickly, Alex. You understand more than I expected, not just the science, but the importance of cooperation and responsibility." Alex nodded. "I never expected to be here, honestly. But maybe humans really do have something to offer. Not just in engineering or science, but in ideas, creativity, even in raising a child." Liara's gaze softened. "It is rare for a human to gain trust so quickly. You are proving the potential of your species." Liar. 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 The next challenge involved preparing for parental duties. Alex learned about Lumerian methods for nurturing, teaching, and protecting a hybrid child. At first, the concept seemed alien and strange. Lumerians relied on energy harmonics, and instinctive connection, while humans depended on observation, learning, and improvisation. Alex struggled initially, fumbling with the energy harmonics that were supposed to connect parent and child. Liara guided him patiently, showing him how to feel the subtle pulses and respond in kind. Slowly, he began to sense the connection. "You are improving," Liara noted. "Soon, you will be able to respond instinctively, as if it were natural." Alex smiled. "I guess humans can learn anything if we try hard enough." He spent hours practicing, observing simulations, and adjusting his techniques. Each success, no matter how small, brought a sense of accomplishment. He realized that being a human in an alien society was not a weakness, it was a strength. His perspective, his creativity, and his willingness to improvise complemented Lumerian methods in ways even they had not expected. One evening, Liara brought Alex to the chamber where the court monitored energy flows for the hybrid child's development. The bracelet pulsed softly on his wrist, responding to the energy patterns. The child was not yet fully conceived, but the preparations required precise alignment of human and Lumerian traits. "You are ready to participate directly," Liara said. "Your intuition and human creativity will guide the process." Alex took a deep breath. "I'll do my best." Together, they initiated the hybrid bonding procedure. Energy flowed through the chamber, harmonizing human and Lumerian biological patterns. Alex focused, using both instinct and logic to adjust the flows, compensating for subtle instabilities. Liara mirrored his movements, her energy blending with his. Slowly, the process stabilized. The court's monitors glowed with balanced energy, indicating success. Alex felt a surge of relief and pride. He had done something no human had done before, participated in creating a hybrid life in the most advanced alien society in the galaxy. Liara looked at him, her expression unreadable but softening. "You are exceeding expectations, Alex. Humans may be unpredictable, but sometimes unpredictability brings results no one could anticipate." Alex grinned. "I guess that's what we do. We find ways to solve problems." The head judge observed quietly, then spoke. "This human demonstrates not only adaptability, but ingenuity. He proves the potential of your species to thrive beyond your world." Alex felt a wave of pride. He was no longer just a human wearing a bracelet as a joke. He was a partner, a problem solver, and a contributor to a future that bridged two species. That night, Alex and Liara walked through the floating gardens once more. The stars, reflected in the crystalline surfaces, and the bracelet pulsed softly on Alex's wrist. "You are learning," Liara said. "Not just the process, but the meaning behind it. Humans can excel where we did not expect." Alex nodded. I'm starting to understand. Humans are more than just survivalists. We can create, solve, and connect, even in alien worlds." Liara smiled faintly. "Then perhaps this union, this child, will be more than a symbol. It may be the beginning of something greater." Alex glanced at the bracelet, feeling its subtle pulse against his skin. He had faced fear, uncertainty, and challenges he could never have imagined. Yet through it all, he had learned that humans were capable, resourceful, and resilient. And as he looked at Liara, standing beside him, he realized that the journey was far from over. Together, they would face the challenges of the hybrid child, the expectations of the court, and the vast possibilities of the galaxy. But for the first time, Alex felt confident. Humans could thrive anywhere. Humans could solve problems others could not. And humans like him, could rise to meet the impossible. The bracelet glowed faintly, almost as if acknowledging his resolve. Alex smiled, ready for whatever the future held, knowing that he had proven, in this alien court, that humans were not just participants in the galaxy they could excel,